From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the May 3rd edition of Carolina Week. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Jacqueline McClary, and this is our last newscast of the semester, and we are once again proud to be bringing you Carolina news and events. Elections board officials are disappointed because of poor voter turnout in the primary elections. Student voting percentages was low at Fetzer Gym, which was the voting site for the Country Club precinct. Student dorms in the precinct include Morrison, Parker, Teague, Eringhouse, Avery, and Carmichael. Only 115 people voted at the precinct. Less than 50% were residents of those dorms. Officials expect the November elections will bring a higher turnout from students voting for the first time.
UNC prides itself on diversity, but do you know how diverse your classmates are?
Investigative reporter Heather Higgins is here to tell us more. Heather?
Hey Jacqueline, hey Fred. This past week, I spoke with business school students about the possibility of prisoners attending classes with them. The students didn't seem to be bothered by the idea.
It's a state institution, and they, have a right to use the state facility.
Katie Hammer is a UNC business student. She says just because someone's in prison, it doesn't mean they can't contribute to class discussions.
I don't think anyone should ever be restricted from learning.
The study release program allows inmates to participate in academic training programs away from the Orange Correctional Center. These prisoners have no supervision while on the university's campus. To participate, the inmate must be in the final stage of minimum custody, have participated in other community-based activities outside the prison, and must have the potential for release through parole. Few people know about this program, but some business school students say the privacy of prisoners outweighs the students' concern for safety.
On the one hand, you've got the student's right to know, but at the same time, that probably compromises the felon's ability to, be treated the same.
The Department of Corrections is a minimum security prison for adult males, not including sex offenders. Although UNC professors do teach classes at the prison, the study release program allows inmates to pursue courses not offered at the prison. All inmate requests for the study release must be approved by prison managers. The study release program is just one of the many programs that allows prisoners time out of the correctional facility.
Officials of Orange Correctional Center refused to talk with me. It seems they were more concerned about the prisoners' right to privacy.
Well, Heather, do we know for sure how many prisoners are taking classes with students on campus?
Yes, Fred, we do. There are actually at least 4 prisoners currently enrolled in undergraduate classes here at UNC.
Obviously done your homework on that report. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Ed Cota and Terrence Newby's legal problems are finally over. The UNC basketball players appeared in court April 28th to face assault charges stemming from a fight last Halloween. Cota and Newby must each perform 10 hours of community service, pay a $100 court fee, and stay out of legal trouble until May 28th. They must also help pay the medical bills of those injured in the fight.
In other legal matters, people in the Triangle can once again see their favorite ABC programming. ABC was suddenly returned to Triangle residents Tuesday afternoon when Time Warner Cable Chairman Joseph Collins offered Disney a 6-month extension to continue airing ABC's signal. After an ongoing corporate dispute between Disney and Time Warner, the cable giant pulled ABC's signal from 7 cities across the nation on Monday, including the local ABC affiliate WTVD in Durham. Disney was fighting over how much money Time Warner must pay Disney for the right to carry some of its cable channels.
ABC isn't the only one fighting for a slot. Women in the business world are also fighting for an equal and fair deal. Here's Carolina Week's Jenny Beaver.
Fly forwards, backwards, and upside down to arrive at the perfect solution for you. This is the key phrase that has taken 28-year-old Wendy Clore from working out of her home to owning her very own business. 5 years ago, Clore remembered a nickname she had in high school, Hummingbird. It was this nickname that helped encourage her to begin Hummingbird Designs, a branding, logo, and advertising business in the Triangle area. Like many women, Clore jumped into the business following a dream. without a lot of planning.
I also think that women right now are taking more chances. They're starting business without having capital. They're starting businesses on their credit cards and on a dream, and they're making it happen.
Women of the 90s and the new millennium are taking hold of their dreams and leaping into self-employment. Reports from the National Foundation of Women Business Owners have shown that there are now more than 4 million businesses in the U.S. owned by women. These businesses generate more than $3.6 trillion in sales. But even though nearly 4 of every 10 businesses are owned by females, women entrepreneurs are still having less success than their male counterparts at receiving small business loans. But according to the U.S. Small Business Administration, in 1 year, the SBA increased the number of loans it made to women by 87%. Wendy Clore is not the only woman struggling to own her own business. Between the years of 1983 and 1997, the number of self-employed women increased by 48%. The number of self-employed men, 1.5%. And by the year 2005, 4.7 million women are expected to own their own businesses. But some women say they're still getting the short side of the stick. Nevertheless, Clore says that she's not giving up.
It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It might happen in the next year. Hopefully the SBA will help, and if they don't, then I'll find another co-signer or something.
In Chapel Hill, this is Jenny Beaver, Carolina Week.
The SBA also reports that while only 5% of senior executives are women, the number is climbing.
Well, graduation day is almost here, and seniors know what that means. It's time to find a job. So how many seniors from the class of 2000 have made that first commitment? According to UNC Career Services, 54% of last year's graduates found a job by graduation day. 32% accepted jobs 1 to 3 months afterward, and 12% landed a job 3 to 6 months after graduation. These percentages are based on surveys mailed out by Career Services. Out of approximately 2,500 surveys, 34% of UNC graduates responded. So if you don't have a job yet, don't worry, there's hope.
A march for equality. That's what brought many people to Washington, D.C. this weekend.
And Carolina Week was there. Stay tuned for the story when we come back.
Throughout my career as a coach, I've lived by the simple axiom that behind every individual success story is a team. The success of Durham Public Schools does not depend on one of us, but all of us. Through community involvement and support, we can take a giant step in helping our children achieve their hopes and dreams. You're going to walk with me, and I'm going to help you to be that great soccer player.
Hey, Mark, where are you going with your piggy bank? I'm going to give my allowance to the Interfaith Council. Why? Mom says they help people, and they need our help, too.
The Interfaith Council helps adults and children through job training, family support, and education. They can't survive without community support. Every donation counts.
I want to help, too.
Call the Interfaith Council at 929-6380.
After a monumental ruling in Vermont on April 27th, making gay civil unions legal, gays and lesbians across the nation are celebrating. Many brought that celebration to Washington, D.C. this weekend for the Millennium March. And as Carolina Week's Jason Morrell shows us, as many as 750,000 people were there to show support.
Their mission is simple: equal rights. And determined to realize that gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and allies from all over the world came to march in Washington, D.C.
Hopefully we can make a difference by just showing up, showing that we care.
The Millennium March was one of the largest gatherings of the gay community in the nation's history, more than 750,000 people. The crowd included supportive friends, proud parents, even newlyweds, and families trying to start a new beginning.
This isn't the first national march on Washington for gays and lesbians. In fact, there have been 3 in the past. This is the first, however, in an election year. And marchers here tell us today they hope their presence is going to make a difference.
it's great to see the show of support filling the mall from the Capitol to the monument with people with one thing on their mind, and that is political equality.
It's always good in an election year to remind people to vote and to think about politics and to communicate to their elected officials that it's important that they take our issues into consideration. And so I think if we can remind people of the importance of that's a good goal and a good reason to come together.
The centerpiece of the day was a rally on the National Mall. Here, the crowd heard politicians, leaders of the national gay and lesbian community, celebrities, and entertainers.
People think this is a political thing. It is a political thing. It's still legal to fire people in 38 states just because they're gay. This is political. This is who we are. We are human beings who are being treated as second-class citizens, and we can't do that. We just can't.
Marchers here say equal rights aren't too far away. In fact, they're within reaching distance.
We're in Washington and we're out here on the Great Lawn and it's ours. You know, I feel like we've come a long way.
In Washington, D.C., I'm Jason Morrell, Carolina Week.
The Millennium March was the largest gathering of the gay community since the Stonewall celebration in New York City in 1994.
In local news, a little rain can't stop the fight against cancer, as one group of Orange County residents proved this weekend. About 150 people braved the elements this weekend at UNC-Chapel Hill High School for the 4th annual Orange County Relay for Life. And the rain didn't dampen the spirits of this crowd. The 24-hour event is a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. A group of cancer survivors took the first lap around the track to kick off this year's event. Volunteers set up camp on the football field and tried to stay dry. Two-time cancer survivor Sophia Smith says the rain made her more appreciate the volunteers.
These are the people that are here that want to be here, that it's in their heart to fight this disease, and that probably are the people that are going to make a difference.
Last year's Relay for Life raised $40,000 for local cancer research. Each walker collects donations before the event, and everyone takes turns walking during the 24 hours.
The 28th annual Apple Chill Festival is history now, and once again it was a big celebration. More than 200 vendors were on hand to accommodate the thousands who showed up to enjoy food, sunshine, and live music. Artwork ranging from jewelry and clothes to sculptures and paintings was on display. Everyone seemed to have a good time. Kids even enjoyed Pete the Dragon's Bounce and Thomas the Train. Several people at the Apple Chill learned firsthand the art of henna. This form of Indian body art is pain-free and can last up to 12 weeks. These henna artists had several designs to choose from. Henna is traditionally worn for decoration or for special celebrations, but henna artist Nina Jane says it has other benefits.
In India, they used to cool your body heat. Like in the deserts, it used to be very hot over there. So they found henna and they used to use it to cool your body heat.
The price typically starts at $5. Celebrities Madonna and Demi Moore have adorned themselves with henna body art, making the Indian tradition popular in America.
People are still talking about the celebrity appearance on Franklin Street last week. It was none other than former Tar Heel Michael Jordan. Hundreds of people lined up around 23, Jordan's newest eatery, trying to catch a glimpse of their sports star. Many brought books and other collectibles in hopes of having them signed by His Airness. Jordan made a brief public appearance during which he autographed the restaurant sign and then went back inside for a private dinner. Some crowd members felt his appearance was too brief and should have interacted with the public longer. 23 opened last fall and is Jordan's third restaurant.
I wish I could have made it out to that restaurant to get a glimpse of Jordan. It would have been nice. Well, humans aren't the only ones enjoying the weather.
It might be a bit hot for a fur coat, but it didn't seem to bother this little guy. The forecast is coming up next.
The second floor of Davis is where students go to pseudo-study. No real studying occurs here. Girls sit in the cushy chairs to scope out guys as they come up the stairs. I've never witnessed the exam break streaking that occurs there, but I'd like to see it before I graduate. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the Student News Show.
Women's Center, may I help you?
The Women's Center is a nonprofit agency that has served as a meeting place for women in the Triangle since 1979, making it one of the oldest freestanding women's centers in the country. The mission of the Women's Center is to provide a supportive community where all women can inspire each other to grow, both personally and professionally.
I was going through a crisis at home and I contacted Helpline and they referred me directly to the Women's Center.
I think the Women's Center is really important for the community because it offers so many different kinds of resources, and if we don't have the resource here, we can find an avenue or a way for women to find the answers that they need.
It is inspiring. It's so exciting to be a part of something that really matters and really changes things.
You can support the Women's Center through membership or by sending a contribution to the Women's Center, 210 Henderson Street, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27514.
Kimberly, is it going to be hard for students to stay in and study during exams?
Well, Fred and Jacqueline, that's definitely the question on many students' minds, and it's definitely going to be hot. The reading days, people are not going to want to stay inside. If you want to lounge by the pool, that's probably the best place to be because temperatures this weekend are going to reach almost 90 degrees.
Oh boy.
Nice.
So, looking at our weather question of the week, what is the layer of atmosphere that most of our weather occurs in? Is it A, the stratosphere, B, the troposphere, C, the mesosphere, or D, the thermosphere? Now, I'm not trying to trick you. These are all actually layers in our atmosphere. So we'll give you the answer at the end of our forecast. Well, hurricane season is just a month away, and NASA's hard at work getting a new eye in the sky. This $220 million satellite blasted into orbit on Wednesday. It's called GOES-L and stands for Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite, which means this will track violent storms such as hurricanes and tornadoes. Well, this will be good news for areas prone to severe weather, such as South Padre Island, Texas, where some powerful storms have ripped through that southeastern part of the state. It moved through earlier this week, and not quite like the tornado storms in Tornado Alley, but still dangerous. Weather conditions there high in the mid-80s and low in the mid-70s, where our pollen levels are high again, as no surprise to most of you. Our trees are the highest with the major pollen present here as oak. And if you're under those oak trees, then your car is probably going to get some of that pollen on there. Well, looking into our forecast, we don't have any wet weather to knock off that pollen. We're going to have some high temperatures, almost close to 90 degrees with that sunshine prevailing through. And don't let those little umbrellas scare you away, because it's only a slight chance that we'll see any rain activity during this weekend. Well, if you want to get to the beaches, it's actually a perfect time to go because they're experiencing much of the same warm weather, high in the mid-80s and low in the low 60s. So Jacqueline and Fred, perfect weather to actually go to the beaches. Even if you have finals, it might be a good getaway. The answer to our weather question, do y'all have a guess?
B.
Yes. Troposphere.
Yes, you're right. It's the troposphere, and it's actually the lowest region of the lowest layer of our atmosphere, which is where most of our weather occurs.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Athletes heading to Australia for the Summer Olympics are practicing now in our backyard.
Stay tuned for sports coming up on Carolina Week.
I need a break.
Yeah, well, what I need is a little peace and quiet when I come home. I've been working hard all day.
You have got to do something about that son of yours. I can't stand it anymore.
Well, maybe if you were a better mother, he wouldn't be such a problem.
Better mother? When do you ever spend time with him?
Family Counseling Service of Durham. We can help. Call 286-3757.
Let your knowledge grow at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. through public service, research, conservation, and education. The garden brings North Carolina's rich natural heritage to you. It's a beautiful way to learn.
TD, there's been a lot of larger guys on Fetzer lately. What's up?
Yeah, what are those big guys up to?
Well, I know you two are practicing on Fetzer Field, just getting recreational shape. The people you're talking about have loftier goals in mind. Carolina has always been rich in athletic tradition, and several athletes are on campus digging for Olympic gold. Brian Strong has a story.
From the training grounds of UNC-Chapel Hill to the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia. That's the planned route for some Olympic javelin hopefuls training at the Irwin Belk Track and Fetzer Field complex. The group in training, which includes UNC students, a Duke coach, and a two-time Olympian, are training 5 to 6 days a week for Olympic trials in July. UNC graduate student Mark Fletcher, who has international meet experience, is getting focused in the months leading into competition.
The season's coming along, so now everything becomes more specific, and you throw out the stuff that doesn't help you throw the javelin, like really heavy weights.
The hard work has to result in an 82-meter throw, the Olympic qualifying standard for men. This distance and beyond are common goals that keep these athletes together.
You may see what they think, you may hear what they do, you may see what they do. You are a family, like.
Kęstutis Salicius is a Lithuanian-born UNC undergrad, recent pin relays javelin champion, and also not the only one looking for a first Olympic appearance.
It was kind of tough to sit home and watch it, so I've kind of vowed that I'll do anything to make it this time. So.
And one two-time Olympian who moved to Chapel Hill for training already knows what it's like.
Being an Olympian is probably the most special thing that you could ever ask for yourself. It's like the culmination of luck and talent and hard work, and everything came together for you at one time in your life. And
hopefully after all the hard work, his training partners will get to live it after hearing about it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Strong, Carolina Week.
The fight for gold at the 2000 Summer Olympics begins on September 15th. Well, despite a huge series with Florida State on the horizon, the Tar Heel baseball team is keeping its focus on the task at hand. The Heels took care of UNC Greensboro Tuesday night. With 2 men on and the Heels facing a 1-run deficit in the 4th inning, Ryan Airy singles to center, plating Tyrell Godwin and Matt McKay, giving Carolina a 3-2 lead. Ryan Snare worked 6+ innings to pick up his team-leading 9th win of the season as the Heels hold on to knock off UNCG 4-3. Carolina has its ACC bye this weekend. Then the Seminoles come to Boshemer for a 3-game set starting May 13th. Besides baseball, another Tar Heel team has Florida State on its mind. The UNC softball team needs to take 2 from East Carolina, combined with a Seminole loss in one of FSU's final 3 games to get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. The Tar Heels are back at work after a disappointing showing at the ACC tournament, where the top-seeded Heels were knocked out after losing their first 2 games, leaving Carolina's postseason fate up in the air. The NCAA softball pairings will be announced Sunday, May 14th. Although softball's NCAA future is unresolved, the women's golf team knows its season is still alive. The Tar Heels earned the slot in the 24-team NCAA East Regional. Carolina has received the bid to the East each year since the current regional format's inception in 1993. The 54-hole event will take place May 11th through the 13th in Columbus, Ohio. We certainly wish the golf team and all the other Carolina teams that are still playing the best of luck the rest of the way.
Well, thanks, TD. TD Evans with the last segment of the last sports segment of this semester's Carolina Week. Thanks, TD. The semester comes to a close, and it's time to draw the curtains on the first season of Carolina Week.
Join us for highlights of the whole season coming up next.
Stroke is a brain attack. It's the 3rd leading killer in North Carolina. Warning signs appear suddenly. Sudden severe headache, vision problems, trouble speaking, numbness on one side of the body. We're all at risk. Know the symptoms so you can get medical help fast. For information about stroke, contact the American Heart Association at 1-800-AHA-USA1.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition. We have liftoff. Join the next mission aboard the Moorhead Planetarium. For more information on Sky Rambles, call 549-6863.
And I can definitely get that picture to you. I tell you what, I'll send it out in the morning. Okay, bye-bye.
Hi, sweetheart. How you hearing today, huh? Good. Because I don't think you heard me yesterday when we decided that you are not to have business in this house. You have family. Where are your kids?
Upstairs, Jim.
James, shouldn't you be in that kitchen cooking my dinner right now? Because that's your job. Do it.
This woman may not have any cuts or bruises, but she's still scarred.
Throughout my career as a coach, I've lived by the simple axiom that behind every individual success story is a team. The success of Durham Public Schools does not depend on one of us, but all of us. Through community involvement and support, we can take a giant step in helping our children achieve their hopes and dreams. You're going to walk with me, and I'm going to help you to be that great soccer player.
It's been a busy year and an active spring semester. Beginning with our first show in February, we've reported on the stories that matter to students. Carolina Week reporter Kimberly Stewart has the highlights from this semester.
As the Millennium Ball dropped to mark a new year, record snowfall began a new semester for UNC students. Carolina administrators tackled difficult issues such as better Dean Dome seating, funding tuition increases, and reaching compromises about UNC merchandise and sweatshop practices. Students have dealt with loss, devastation, and rising gas prices. But we've also lent a hand, proven our talents, and made a run for being the best basketball team in the country. New faces emerged as James Measer was chosen to lead Carolina in the fall as chancellor, alongside new student leaders and student body president Brad Matthews. We hope you didn't sleep your semester away because Carolina Week's been watching you. Really? Well, we've enjoyed keeping our lens on you, and we hope that you'll keep your eye on us next semester. In the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, I'm Kimberly Stewart, Carolina Week.
Well, that sure is sad, and we're all seniors, so we're out of here.
I know, and
Leaving.
that sleep package that you saw, that footage sleeping, that was fun. that poor person probably doesn't even know that that was even on the air, but we didn't see any faces, so
yeah.
We should be fine.
Great.
But that does it for our final Carolina newscast. We start back again next fall semester, and you'll see several new faces.
Have a great and safe summer, and for those of you graduating, good luck in the coming years. From all of us here at Carolina Week, good night.
Good night.
If you'd like to contact Carolina Week, our mailing address is Carolina Week, Campus Box 3365, or you can reach us by email at carolinaweek@unc.edu.